It's also been brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealership today. Toyota, let's go places. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Everwood, the official treated lumber of Alabama athletics. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Well, welcome. We're here today to celebrate a tough team, a storied football program. This year's Command Trophy winners, the Army Black Knights. We're also joined by Army football's biggest fans, Bill and Steve of the radio show Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. Well, thanks for making a trip from Alabama.
Welcome, Army sports fans, from sea to shining sea. And yes, Steve and I did make that trip to the White House. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, and this is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff, joined tonight by my erstwhile host and man who knows all, Steve Cripey, the human Ouija board.
Erstwhile. I've been called many things in my life, but I think that's the first time it's an erstwhile.
And also joined by the Dirt Pig, Barrett Crawford, former Sprint football player.
Go Army, big roll this year.
Yeah.
We are indeed on a big roll. And in case you are living somewhere in outer Botswana, you may not know the fact that we are 5-0. We're undefeated. We are playing excellent football. We're ranked nationally in many, many categories, which Steve, I'm sure we'll get into later. We just beat Tulsa 49-7 by 42 points. Guys, it don't get no better than that.
I tell you what, enjoying the afterglow of not only a dominant win, but 5-0. I mean, it's pretty remarkable, that not only again the fact that we're winning, but the way we're winning. And one of the telling stats is, for those that sort of follow betting lines and those kind of things, the point spread is established. And a lot of times, a lot of betting sites, you point, bet on them with the points, without the points, straight up, all those kind of things like that. Well, on average, we've exceeded the point spread established by Vegas by 16.5 points a game. I've got a friend that bets a lot. He says that is unheard of.
Yeah, and I mean, to think of where we were last year and right now, we're about to be, play UAB and probably get bowl eligibility this fast in the season. I mean, it's unbelievable, like how the state of the program compared to last year. I'm so happy to be an Army football fan.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot. And, one thing I like is, watching some of the ESPN shows and even here listening to our station locally, we're starting to get some love nationally. So, so things are going good. But hey, speaking of things going good, before we get too far down the pike, interest rates are going good right now. And if you need to refinance, now is the time to contact Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Best way to reach them is northalabamamortgage.com. You can refinance, you can put some cash in your pocket, you can remodel your home, and you can get a better interest rate. So go see Brian and his team. I did, and they took care of me very well. So
gave you some money, did they?
Well, they
some walking around money,
some folding cash.
And Barrett, they did your deal too.
Oh yeah, we love Brian Hamaker and the team.
So tonight, folks, let's talk a little bit about the show that we have ahead of us. here in a few minutes, we're going to be joined by what I think is one of the top defensive coordinators in the country, and that's Coach Nate Woody. We'll have him with us for a few minutes. And then at the top of the hour, we will be joined by the coach of the victorious Sprint football team, Coach Mark West. And Barrett, tell everybody a little bit about what Sprint football is, just in case they don't know.
Yeah, in case you don't know, Sprint football, it's a lightweight football, 178 pounds. Everybody on the team has to make weight, but it's regular NCAA rules, football, full pads, pedal to the metal. And Army just beat Navy last week, to get that star.
Yeah, outstanding. Yeah, always good to take the star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, sometimes, guys, we do the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we can do that. But I don't think we're gonna have. Well, Steve, let's do a little good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's not going to be a lot of bad, and not going to be a lot of ugly.
Yeah, a little bit of bad, but certainly not any ugly. With a game like that just went well.
Well, I will start it out with our quarterback, Bryson Daly, who was 5 out of 5 for 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I didn't even know this was possible, but he had a 467.2 passing efficiency rating. I don't know what the maximum is, but I was thinking, I think it can't be much higher than that.
Yeah. For me, the good at the top of the list is the defense, and specifically, for those who aren't aware of it, but Army is currently number 1 in the nation in 4th down conversion percentage defense, and the big part of that was Tulsa attempted to go for it on 4th down 5 times, and only was successful on 1 of those right there, and that's just one. I think that is a testimony to Tulsa's view of our offense, that if they turn it back to Army, they're going to put points on the board. And so I think they rolled the dice on that, but it came back to bite them. But yeah, number 1 in the nation right now. We hold opposing defenses in the red zone to 44% success rate, which is pretty low.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the defense, we're solid in the red zone, solid on, stopping the rush. Maybe too soon, but maybe my ugly would be, the pass and the tackle defense, not letting those big passes up. But overall, there's not a lot of ugly and there's not a lot of bad, because Bryson Daly continues to impress and Noah Short continues to impress. And so does Kanye Udo. Should I name some more offensive players that got a touchdown?
Oh, yeah. It was, scoring early and often. For me, the only bad thing it was the first quarter defense. It just seemed a little sloppy tackling. I think, some of us were going, wow, okay, Tulsa is really bringing it out there. They were shown some success there. But I think it was more attributable, to Army finding their rhythm on defense, tightening up the tackle, and just, pursuit angles, those kind of things that they had been really strong on. Seemed like it took them a little, about at least half a quarter, almost full quarter, just to get that, crack the code on that.
Well, Tulsa got in the red zone. And for those out there who may not know what the red zone is, it's inside the 20-yard line. They got there 1 time. And that's pretty good. When the other team cannot get in the red zone, it's going to be pretty hard to score. And I got to say one other thing that's good, and that is the fact that Bryson Daly, thanks to the people who I think follow our Facebook page, and Steve pushed that pretty hard, he got the votes to be the Manning Player of the Week. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I've ever seen that happen for an Army quarterback, and that's pretty good national recognition.
Oh yeah, that's outstanding. I do one other good that I think, and it's almost becoming noise in the background that we're not paying attention to. But right now, penalties, we are doing friggin' fantastic. Fewest penalties per game, we're number 2 in the nation, and fewest penalty yards per game, we're number 3 in the nation with less than 30 yards of penalty. And again, where I think that's in the background is we quickly 5 games in the season. Okay, that's what we do, But in the past couple seasons, we've had some struggles with that. So it's good to see us back playing Army football that's disciplined. Few penalties, anything, and even of the 3 penalties that we had against Tulsa, only one of them was those irritating pre-snap kind of penalties. Others, I put them in the category of just aggressive play.
Riddle me this, Batman. I have a theory on that, Steve.
A theory? Wow.
I have a theory, and I think we owe something to Mr. Connor Stallions, who was the former Naval Academy graduate who was caught stealing signs for Michigan. And because of that, they created the Connor Stallions rule, where you can now communicate with the quarterback up to 15 seconds before the play. And I think a lot of our pre-snap penalties in the past, at least in my opinion, they were from trying to get the call in from the sidelines and the team getting jumpy, and it just didn't work. But now that the play is being called in,
I haven't seen a lot. Normally, Army will get the play from the sideline, go under center, and then everybody will look away to the sideline. I haven't seen a lot of that happen, or maybe I'm just not looking at it. But I do think the offense is doing great, and the offensive line especially, and creating those gaps for Bryson Daly and Kanye Udo. And I mean, if you're watching the game last week against Tulsa, Kanye Udo going back to back for those long 60-yard runs. I think it was 6 yards, but man, I mean, it's just exciting to watch.
I too, speaking of offensive line, there were question marks coming in, because it's not about just the individual players on the offensive line. They've got to function as a unit. And the way they have come together, you're getting people, at the quote unquote skill positions that are catching a lot of the tensions, putting points on the board, big long runs, and Daily, performing really well. But it's those 5 guys up front. The way they have come together as a unit, and they're getting recognized. PFF is scoring those guys really high consistently. So great stuff.
Well, speaking of coming together as a unit, I think one of the greatest parts of the Army team this year has been our defense. And we are joined now by our defensive coordinator, Coach Nate Woody. Coach, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Hey, Coach.
We're talking Army football, so we're outstanding.
Well, we just got done with practice, and my goodness, if we got all the bad things out of the way tonight. So
that's
we're
good.
looking forward to doing outstanding tomorrow in practice and get it right in the game.
Well, Coach, let me ask you a question. I know I am, but how proud are you of your defense and the way it's played this year? I mean, they're getting national recognition, as we've been talking about in many aspects of the game. It seems like they have just gelled as a unit.
They've come together. They work really hard. I think that there's a lot of new faces out there that that didn't get much playing time last year. But I heard you talking about the offensive line and how they've come together. And I'll be honest with you, that's helped us tremendously in practice going against that offensive line, because I think that's one of the best offensive lines in the country. So being able to go against those guys and the offense that Coach Worley puts out there, it's helped us gain experience, and the speed of the game is a little bit less daunting, for the guys that haven't had much experience so far, because of what they see in practice. And not only that, those guys are putting points up on the board, and when you get a lead, you things change, from who you're playing against, and what their play selection is. But our guys have gained a little bit of experience each week. They've gotten a little bit better each week, and we hope that continues, because we're going to need to get better for this last half of the season.
Oh yeah, talking about getting better over the course of the season, there's an area that I'd like to zero in on. The opening game of the season, Lehigh, the Army defense gives up over 170 yards rushing to a middle of the rung FCS team, and I think that raised some eyebrows. Wow, what's going to happen to our run defense? Well, here we are, 5 games into the season. Army is number 7 in the country in run defense, giving up less than 82 yards a game. Tell me about the progression there that got us from that Lehigh game to where we are 5 games in the season.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think that when you get out in front of a team that you're playing against, and they're running the quarterback often, then you can make a decision on whether you want to put all the numbers that it takes to stop the quarterback in the run game, in the box, and maybe open up yourself for some things, over the top with some easy post plays or deep balls. And with the leads that we get, it just didn't make sense for us to be as aggressive versus the run, in that first ball game. Now, also give Lehigh credit because they played a quarterback that we hadn't seen. They came back and they did the same thing that Tulsa did. They played with two quarterbacks. One was going to throw the football, the other one was going to run it, and did a nice job of it. Good play selection and nice execution. And I think they're going to be a really good football team, much better than they were last year. And that's the thing about college football now is there's a lot of transfers in today's game, and if you were deficient in some area last year, you can go out and you can find somebody that can help you in that area a lot easier than it used to be.
Wow.
So
yeah,
good opening game for us. Good coaching staff that we went against. Good and we learned some things about ourselves in that first game. Some things that we need to do a little bit better, and I guess that's what we've been trying to do every game is just find out how we can be just a little bit better than we were the previous game. And the guys are motivated. They work hard, and they're learning well. Like I said, we still got we got a ways to go. We got some good rankings right now, good stats, but just in general, there's some things that we've got to continue to improve on if we're going to win ball games this last half of the season.
definitely.
Hey, Coach, speaking of transfers and things of that nature, a question I have, just sort of a generic question in general, is, a lot of people said, oh gosh, Army, they can't participate in name, image, and likeness. They can't do the transfer portal for people coming in. And I have maintained consistently that I think that us not having that capability actually benefits Army, because you get players who really want to be there, and they're going to be there. You don't have to re-recruit them throughout the year. What is your opinion on us not being able to do that? Do you think it helps, hurts, or doesn't make any difference at all?
First of all, I think when we get the right kid, we get the tougher kid. I think that everything that our guys get to do from down the hill in classroom, just doing Army stuff, it builds them. It just, and they understand why they do it. They understand that they get better every day. And I'm not sure that at every college that you go to, that you do get better every day. That the emphasis around here is that you work hard and you'll get better, and along the way you become closer from a team standpoint. Maybe better than anywhere. Not maybe, absolutely better than anywhere I've been. It's ingrained in that you learn how to work as a team, and when you learn how to work together, when you learn how to communicate, when you understand where your teammates' responsibilities are and how you can affect those responsibilities and how he can affect yours, then you're going to have an opportunity to be successful. And I think that here at Army, you get those things. You get guys that want to work together, and they don't care if that spotlight is on them. They just as soon deflect the praise to their teammates, and that's a great atmosphere to work in. It's a great. You couldn't ask for any better.
Oh yeah.
So I love working with these guys, and you're exactly right. The team part of it is the most important part of it.
Oh yeah, and Coach, I definitely agree. I mean, watching the culture of Army football with that next man up attitude, it's phenomenal watching, especially going in to the season right now at 5-0 with, looking at hopefuls at the end of the year. My question to you, Coach, over the past 3 games, it looks like we've been getting a lot of sacks and a lot of pressure on the opposing team's quarterbacks. Looking at UAB this week, their quarterback sat out, last week's game. But what are your keys to keeping that pressure up in this game against UAB?
Well, it just depends on what type of quarterback that you're facing. And UAB had their the starting quarterback was out this last ball game. You don't know if he's going to be back this game or not. But you have different game plans for different type of quarterbacks. So some of them you want to contain and keep them in the pocket, and heck, you don't. Sometimes you don't care where they throw the football because they're not quite as accurate as others. And then if they do get outside the pocket, that's where they hurt you. So some of them in the pocket, man, you got to affect them. You got to get them off their spot and make them throw before they're ready, before the receivers are ready, or just under duress. And I think our guys are they understand the different game plans. They understand how to execute, and they don't ask questions about why. They just do what what they're told, and they do it to the very best of their ability. So let's see which quarterback we see in this ball game, and it's probably a little bit different strategy for whichever quarterback we see.
Oh yeah. So going into the Tulsa game, your defense had been averaging less than 25 minutes on the field of play, just due to the offense's dominance in the time possession stats. Tulsa sort of flipped that a little bit. Well, I guess we sort of both flipped. We had a lot of quick strike touchdowns. Offense wasn't on the field that much. Conversely, Tulsa had some sustained drives where they kept the defense out there. So 10 extra minutes on the field of play for your defense. How does that influence the way you play everything from schemes to personnel come that fourth quarter when they've had that extra time on the field?
Well, I'll tell you what, our offense has been incredibly efficient. And whenever they're putting points up on the board, I'm not sure that it matters to me whether they do it in a quick fashion or whether it takes a long time to do it, because like I said, once you get those points up on the board, that affects the other team. If you have a long drive and you don't get the point, then I don't know that really affects the opposing offense as much. So credit Coach Worley and that offensive staff, and that those guys are putting up points. This game, they put up the points fast, and there was a couple of third downs that I'd like to have back. That either give them a better call or execute the defense on some of them a little bit better. So they were able to sustain a little bit of a drive early, and our guys were able to come back and make some plays on fourth down. And often we talk about turnovers. Well, fourth down is if you stop them on fourth down, it's a turnover on down.
Yeah.
And we were successful on 4 out of the 5 I think that we faced this last ball game, and that's good. Our offense took advantage of it and put points back up on the board. But really, our offense has kept us rested, in these early ball games quite a bit, and but they're still getting so many points up on the board that we're playing with a lot of backups in the fourth quarter, sometimes in the third quarter. So those guys are getting a lot of experience as well. So that'll help us down the road.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Hey, Coach, speaking of the other team's quarterback, I've heard that Kitna, if he plays, that pigeons may land on him. I don't think he's that mobile. We'll see what happens with that. But
I'll strike that last game plan and refigure it.
Like one thing, I've been following Army football since I was a plebe at West Point in 1976, and I've been doing this show for 14 years, and I've never seen the national buzz around the Army football program that's starting to develop now. I'm seeing love on ESPN. I'm seeing love on shows like Jim Rome's show and Pat McAfee's show. And I got to imagine that is permeate. And Nick Saban calls it rat poison. I don't care. But what's is that feeling of something special going on here? Is that permeating the team and just getting them fired up where they'll run through a brick wall?
Well, it may be a little bit hard to answer that, because last year I think we were 2-6, and then we won on a tear. The last half of the season, when a lot of other teams would have quit, ours got better, and they fought through some adversity, and we won ball games and won enough ball games to even a record back out and win the two most important ball games against Air Force and Navy. So I kind of think that I don't kind of think, I absolutely think that our guys are going to come out to work, and they're the guys that understand that the hurdles in the road are made to be broken and get over them. And I think that if you talk about how well we're doing, that's just chatter to them. I think they come out and give great effort, both mentally and physically. And as long as we continue to do that, I think things will pay off for us. And I don't see any signs of anything changing. So motivation, yeah, it's nice to hear your name and people talking good about it. But even if they weren't, they still work hard and they still come out and get after it. So love this team, love what they're about, and I'm proud of them so far.
That's outstanding. Yeah, keeping them in the moment. I'd like to turn the topic to recruiting. It seems like over the last few years, especially among the Army fandom, if you will, Cole Christensen, he's graduating. We're losing the stud linebacker, John Radigan, Markel Broughton. It just seems that Army has found its rhythm on the recruiting front, and the pipeline is there. Where it truly is next man up, and we're not seeing the drop off on talent, even when those real stud players, we lose them to graduation. Tell me a little bit about the success you've had with recruiting, and what do you see as those contributing factors to your success?
Sometimes it's not easy to know who is the better ball player. You get guys that may do better in practice, and then in the game time may not read schemes or react quite as fast. You get other guys that everything that you see in practice is exactly what you get in a ball game. And likewise, when you're recruiting these guys, you have to look at the competition that they're going against, because sometimes you get a guy that is outrunning everybody, and you find out he's up in the mountains and he's actually running downhill. But I think what's happened is we are a school that some guys that have a toughness about them want to come to, and they have an intellect, and they have a work ethic, and whatever skill set that they bring with them, they perfect that, and they work on the next skill set, trying to get that as well. And we've been fortunate that we've had some guys that had some speed and athleticism that can match up with most everybody that we're playing. Maybe not that LSU game, that crowd.
Yeah,
but,
I was there.
Yeah, we were there. Sorry,
not a fun time.
No, that was messed up on the game plan there. But guys do and when you get guys that are looking at their press clippings and are all about beating the chest and just look at me, sometimes it's hard to get them to play as hard as maybe our guys. And I'm not demeaning anyone that we play against, but I like our attitude. I like our work ethic, and I feel very strongly that they'll continue to work this hard. We just got to make sure that we put them in the right assignments, and they'll take care of the rest.
That's outstanding.
Well, Coach, hey, we really appreciate your time. And I know as this year goes by, speaking of press clippings, I do believe that the name of Nate Woody is going to come up more and more often as people see what kind of coach you are. And we already knew that. So we wish you the best, but certainly hope you stick around at Army for quite some time and go this week, beat the Blazers. That's a good game we need to win. And again, thank you for your time, Coach. We really appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate you letting me come on your show. All right. You take care. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. That was Coach Nate Woody, the defensive coordinator of the Army Black Knights. A great interview. Bailey, do we need to take a break? Yeah. So, folks, we're going to.
An enthusiastic north-south head nod there.
Yeah. Shut up, Crawford. Take a dadgum break. So, we're going to take a break and we'll be back. And when we come back, we will be joined shortly thereafter by the Sprint football coach, Coach Mark West. Back in a few.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
It's the dawning of a new age in Tuscaloosa.
I understand what Alabama football is all about. Roll time.
Join the Crimson Tide as the Kalen DuBois era begins.
Touchdown!
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on South Carolina in an SEC showdown in Tuscaloosa. Our coverage begins at 8 a.m. on your home for Alabama football.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's official. 47 years in a row, Ford F-150 is the best-selling truck in America. Come drive one and you'll see why. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to kickstart the new year in a brand new F-150. Choose from nearly 200 F-150s, and we think you'll find just the right one. Right now, we have financing as low as 2.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150s, and lease payments as low as $389 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have nearly 50 2023 Explorers for you to choose from, too. with financing as low as 0.9% for up to 60 months. Plus, check out our over 40 24 Bronco Sports and a fresh truckload of the full-size Broncos that have just hit the ground. Come on over and let's get the new year rolling. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. A clear and quiet night expected across the Tennessee Valley for this Wednesday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the lower 50s for the overnight. We could also potentially see gusty winds as high as 15 miles per hour. That will carry over into our Thursday, also seeing plenty of sunshine. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN.
Listen to the Woody Anderson Ford Scoreboard Show, powered by Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware. Each Friday night with Scott Tyson on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. I am Bill Crawdad Crawford, and you are not. How about that? Hey, just one thing I want to mention, folks. One of our sponsors, Nick's Ristorante, owned by Tom Chapman on the, as I say, a driver and a pitching wedge south of the intersection of Bailey Cove and Whitesburg and Weatherly, excuse me. They're having a little deal now during football season. At 2:00 every Saturday, you go down there and you pay a nominal fee and you get some great little football creations of food and you get to watch the game down there. So it's a good place to go, and it's a good place to go on Saturday and a good place to go any other time.
Might be a bad idea after the Army game. Just keep heading south.
Yeah. Guess what I've been doing?
Surprise.
But one thing we were talking about with Coach Woody is name, image, and likeness. And for those who aren't familiar with that, it started a couple of years ago where the intent was just, like Pat Bo Nix, where he got an advertising contract with Milo's Iced Tea. Now it's out of control where people are getting all kinds of money. And Steve, I think you nailed it when we were talking about this over dinner. And that is the fact that Army players, for the level of recruit that we get, which is 3 to 2 stars, their cadet pay is about the same as name, image, and likeness money throughout the other colleges that are comparable.
Yeah, I would say it's on par or even a little bit more. I mean, because, there are still these, walk-ons and, 1-star athletes, they've got to get a part-time job. I think that I've always felt like even pre-NIL, that was a feather in Army's cap, that you come here, you don't have to hold down a part-time job so you can buy toothpaste. We're going to provide you that. You can focus on Army, focus on, the academics, the athletics, and you're good. And I think just this environment, it's only the 4- and 5-star athletes that are getting those big, ticket contracts. And again, the level of athlete that we're competing for, we're not competing for that. So NIL is a non-factor. Transfer portal, I think that's something we still got to monitor, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, I tend to agree with you, and we can maybe converse about that a little later. But we now have with us the coach who is, in my opinion, a Hall of Famer in Collegiate Sprint Football League, and that's Army's head coach, Mark West. Coach West, how are you doing tonight?
What's going on, Crawdad? I'm doing well.
Doing
well, thanks.
I would think you're doing well after your defeat of Navy, which I know we all watched down here. It's a great game.
Yeah, it was. As expected, typically, we get together on the field of friendly strife, and it's a battle. And we were fortunate enough to come away with the victory last Friday night.
Well, Coach, this is Barrett Crawford. It's good to hear your voice again.
Oh my God! What's going on?
You may, if you're looking on the YouTube option, you may not recognize me with all my hair gone away. But no, it was great to watch you guys on ESPN, and I think a lot of that success came from your son. What's it like to have both of your sons? I mean, I think Kyle's going to be the next MVP of the year.
Well, I tell you what, as a dad, I've got the best seat in the house. That's what I like to say. Having a chance to watch my two boys, spin it, I guess you could say, on Friday nights, right in front of me. It's really a dream come true. But yeah, he had a solid game against Navy, and given it was his first ever start, and I know he had the jitters before the game, but as I told him, I was like, Kyle, man, you've been watching this game your whole life since you were in diapers. You were born to play in this game, so just go out there and enjoy it, have some fun, and let's go beat Navy. And we did. And of course, Kyle will be the first to tell you that it wasn't because of Kyle West. It was because of a total team effort. Especially the defense. I mean, the defense, they rose to the occasion after that first drive at Navy. They took that first drive down the field, and we managed to hold them to 3 points, and they really got nothing after that. And but really proud of the entire team. And we've been waiting a long time to get that rematch with them from the championship game from last year when they beat us. So so it was a little sweet revenge, but we got a lot more football to play this year.
So, Coach West, given your longevity, not only with Army sprint football, but in the broader sense with collegiate sprint football, really, I think gives you a unique perspective. It's been a dynamic environment. Teams that were part of the league not too many years ago are no longer part of it. Some teams have been added. What's your assessment of where sprint football is and what we can expect in the future, not only with the current league that you all compete in? There's an upstart league out west. Where do you see all that going?
Yeah, that's a great question. And my vision, I guess, from my cubbyhole, I guess you could say, as a head coach, is that I would love to see this sport continue to grow. And I've done everything that I could possibly do, I guess, from my position to help that, to make that happen. I know with our league, the Collegiate Sprint Football League, we've got a commissioner now who's also dual hat as a commissioner of the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference. And that's I think about a 12-school conference where they do not have football in their conference. There's actually 3 schools in the conference that have football, and all 3 of those schools are sprint football schools. So there's a chance right there alone just to expand our own league to 12, 14, maybe 16 teams. So I know the commissioner of our league who dual hats. I know he's reached out to a lot of those schools. I think he's gaining some traction, and we might have some more interest from those schools here in the near future. But you mentioned the new league that just started up out in the Midwest, the Midwest Sprint Football League, and they've got 7 teams of their own right now. And we actually played a home and home with Walsh University, and Walsh is in that league. They came to us last year, and then we went to them this year. And I'm doing this, and Walsh, agreed that, hey, let's try to get a little interleague, rivalries going to generate some interest within our 2 leagues, and eventually have maybe a true national championship game someday. But also it's good marketing for for the rest of the country, I guess you could say. If you have an interest in doing something like this, it can be done. And, there's a lot of schools out there that would love to have a collegiate football team, but maybe can't afford it, or, realize that, hey, it might be really expensive to try to do that. Well, collegiate sprint football, it's with the rules that are in place, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money to run a collegiate sprint football team compared to, every other college in the country. So it's a great way to increase enrollment, as I like to say, put butts in seats, as a lot of schools are out there trying to do. And so my hope is that between our league and the Midwest Sprint Football League, we get enough exposure where some other areas in the country see that and are like, hey, maybe we could try doing something like this too.
Hey, Coach, I have a question. I think this goes back to the days of JB Economy, who was one of the first members. Good old JB.
Oh, go JB. Oh, yeah.
Well, Huntsville's been kind of a pipeline for the sprint football team. Don't we still have some players on the team this year?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, we still got some players. Come on now. You know that. You know that.
You never ask a question you don't know.
That's right. He teed that one up for you, Coach.
Yeah. We got old JP Ross, man. JP, he's a player. Let's go. Yeah, he's one of our running backs right now. But no, we've had a great pipeline coming through the Huntsville, Madison area now for a long time, no doubt.
Well, good. Well, Coach, we're going to have to get out of here in a minute, but what's left for the season? What's your biggest game? Still another Navy game, I would imagine, right?
Well, our focus now is on winning the North Division, right? We accomplished goal number 1, which is to win the Star game. Goal number 2 is to win the North Division. That starts this Friday night against St. Thomas Aquinas. And then we'll eventually move on to Mansfield. Mansfield University out of Pennsylvania, they've got a really good team this year. They played Navy really tough the first game of the season. They've got an excellent quarterback who's, in my mind, a D1 type quarterback who happens to play at Mansfield University. So we're going to have our work cut out for us with Mansfield for sure. But our hope is that we wrap up the North Division, win that thing again, and then move on to the championship game. Of course, we always think that's going to be Navy, be Navy, I should say. But, this year there's some really good teams in their division as well. So we'll see who comes out of the South Division. But right now we're focused on winning the North, and that starts this weekend with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Barrett, you got another question for your old coach?
Hey, Coach.
Come on, Barrett. Come on, man.
Bring it.
Looking back at the past years, Navy and Penn, those were 2 big games. Is Penn now in the Southern League? Or the Southern Division?
So Penn right now, they so just to backtrack a little bit, Navy played Mansfield the very first game of the year at Mansfield and kind of squeaked by Mansfield with a 31-26 win.
Oh, wow.
All right. Then the next weekend, Mansfield had to play Penn. Penn beat Mansfield by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh.
So if you try to compare scores, you're looking at that like, Penn might be pretty good. You always hate to compare scores, but Penn, they're undefeated right now. They've won all their games handily. So Navy and Penn will play the next to last game of the season. So they're still a few weeks away, but that's going to be an interesting matchup. But like I said, our focus right now isn't on that. Our focus is on winning the North Division. And that, like I said, starts this weekend with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Hey, Coach, one final question, then we'll let you go. I've heard rumor that there is going to be a new place in Highland Falls where one can relax and have a refreshing adult beverage and some good food. What might that place be, and where is it exactly? Where is it in Highland Falls, and when is it open?
Yes. You've heard correctly. So my wife and I, we've had this kind of lifelong dream of opening our own bar one day. Believe it or not, we like beer. Our first tour was Germany, and we were just kind of sold on beer from there. But yeah, we've always had this dream of opening a bar, and Highland Falls right now is with the closing of several very popular restaurants over the last 2, 3, 4 years. There's not much to choose from in Highland Falls anymore. And my wife, granted, she's a military brat, West Point graduate like I am, but she calls Highland Falls home. Her father retired when she was in 5th grade, and retired to Highland Falls. And so she really thinks of herself as a townie. And so, we're like, hey, this is the time. If there's ever a time to do it, let's do it now. And so, yeah, we're in the process of opening a craft bar in Highland Falls, 427 Main Street. For all you old folks out there listening, that's the old Vasilis gift shop.
Nice.
Vasilis is kind of across the street from the visitor center. It's a great location. And really we're doing this not to, we don't want to become rich off this. I mean, we just want to do this for the town of Highland Falls, or the village as they call it. And we think it's a really golden opportunity to try to revitalize the village and get things going. And we're doing this through AOG, the Association of Graduates. And we're hoping that, we kind of set the standard, if you will, and other businesses will come in and say, hey, if they can do it, we can too. And we just really want to revitalize the village.
And it's going to be called
Definitely come visit.
Westies, right?
Westies, yeah. Westies is going to be the name of it. We're actually on Instagram, Facebook already. So if you want to friend us, Westies, WSTY 'S, not WSTIES. That's the apparently that's a Brooklyn mafia, Italian mafia group out of Brooklyn.
Not to be confused.
With them. No, we're WSTY 'S.
Well, Coach, I hope to be able to sit down and bend an elbow with you there, and we appreciate your time tonight. And Bailey, I think we can go ahead and take a break and let Coach West go back and do his thing. And good luck this week against
Thanks, Coach. Beat Navy.
Aquinas. Yeah, beat Navy.
Beat Navy.
Thanks, guys. Barrett, so good hearing your voice, buddy.
You too, Coach.
You guys be good. All right.
Okay. That's Coach Mark West, the head coach of the Army Sprint football team, who's been the head coach there for many a year. So, Bailey, let's go ahead and get a break, get out of here. We'll come back and wrap it up tonight.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
ALCert number 21014.
As the calendar turns to Halloween, make sure you get more treats than tricks. Thomas from Talent Heating and Air is with us. Don't let those ghosts and goblins get you on Halloween.
Yeah, we're not too worried about the ghosts and goblins this Halloween. We'll come out, we'll do a free second opinion like we always do. We're offering $49 tune-ups to make sure that you're ready for the fall and the coming winter. And then we're also offering free heat exchanger checks. We'll come out, we'll check your heat exchanger, make sure you don't have any leaks and don't have to worry about carbon monoxide getting in your house.
And Talent Heating and Air won't ghost you on this Halloween.
If you call us, we'll definitely get to you right then, or we'll get right back with you. We pride ourselves in same-day service as much as possible.
Let the people know how to get you.
That's 256-503-4490, or if you want to hit us up on our website, that's talenthvac.com.
Let Talent Heating and Air give you plenty of treats this Halloween.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhauer here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99, and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99 or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. A clear and quiet night expected across the Tennessee Valley for this Wednesday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the lower 50s for the overnight. We could also potentially see gusty winds as high as 15 miles per hour. That will carry over into our Thursday, also seeing plenty of sunshine. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Bill Crawdad Crawford, final segment of Crawdad's Countdown to Kickoff. And before we get into a little UAB, I will say this. If you want to do something right, refinance your home with Brian at NorthAlabamaMortgage.com and go celebrate down at Nick's. So,
well, what if we want to do something wrong? What are our options?
I do not advocate.
Do you have friends that want to do something wrong?
No.
I mean, is that okay? So
my wife says I always do something wrong, but that's neither here nor there.
Well,
So-
you married her, so you did at least one thing right.
That's
and
so.
you got a strapping son here,
No,
so
thank
you know.
you, thank you. There you go. So, hey, we play the UAB Blazers this weekend. UAB. And UAB, Steve, has fallen upon a bad season so far.
University of Alabama at Birmingham, for those who don't know.
Yeah, you know, and it wasn't too many years ago. I mean, they bottom line, they've got a very young program compared to most, certainly compared to Army. You know, it's they went from not having any program. I think in 2010 was their first season, so they haven't been around long, but they quickly ramped up. I think 2018 was their banner season. I think they won Conference USA that year. Seemed to be firing on all cylinders, but yeah, this year they just seem to have, have a roster problem, if you will. And that's one of the dynamics. You know, we were talking about NIL earlier. That is one of the dynamics. You know, when you see a group of 5, player that's doing really well, those guys are getting cherry picked by the P4 conferences with the big NIL dollars and stuff like that. So the G5 teams, minus so far the Surface Academies, they've had a struggle maintaining a consistent roster because they certainly don't have the big money bucks out, to go in, and do like Coach Woody said. Okay, we got a deficiency in the secondary. Let's go roll out the paycheck and rope one of those guys.
Yeah, and looking at somebody like UAB, if they do get a really good, successful season, then they're going to get some more traction and, it's more for the NIL and the transfer portal to take them away. But looking at UAB right now, they've only won one game. That was against Alcorn State. But, kind of the thing we don't know about them is that they did play Navy, and Navy runs a similar offense. So, how well adjusted will they be to Army's offense? But I think Army's going to come in there and just play Army football, time of possession. And the only kind of, hesitation I see with UAB is their quarterback. But it's just like Coach Woody said, we don't know which quarterback we're getting. So if we get the starter who is injured, he seems like a dual threat, but we just don't know. We got to play sound Army football.
Yeah, and I think the other area that concerns me, again, we've been sort of hot and cold on special teams. Fortunately, more hot than cold. We've had some of those muffed punt receptions and that. But, one of the areas that the UAB is strong is in punt returns. I mean, they are averaging almost 33 yards a punt return.
Well, an Army doesn't punt it that much.
Yeah, fortunately we don't, and hopefully we won't be punting at all. But getting one of those dynamic punt returners in open field, that could be a challenge. So special teams could be something potentially that keeps them in the game.
The clock is the arch enemy. It's the Joker and the Riddler put together on Sports Talk Radio. So let's go ahead and give a prediction, Barrett. We will start with you.
I think Army is going to win this game. They're going to be bowl eligible. They're going to go to 6-0. And as Army football fans, we can say, Not really. You can't really give a sigh of relief yet. But to know that we're going to be bowl eligible really soon is very fantastic. But I think Army's going to win 5 touchdowns, make it 35-10, maybe give up, one big play from UAB. But I think it's Bryson Daly, Noah Short, Kanye Udo. And I even think Dwayne Coleman's going to get in at the end of the game and make a few touchdowns as well. So,
Steven.
Yeah, I think the fact that UAB's leading tackler is a safety tells you all you need to know about their run defense. I think we're going to put up a lot of yards. We may even bump up our average on yards per rush and rushing yards per game. I've got Army winning 39-16.
Well, hey, as I always say, I've been going big this year. Go big or go home, and we're going to go big this time. Last 5 games, averaging 400 yards of offense. We're going to do it again. Last game, 10.5 yards per play. We're going to do that again, 52-10. Steve, how many days are left?
Sir, there are 65 and about days until Army beats the hell out of Navy at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland.
Ooh.
How about that?
And what an Army-Navy game it will be.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we're both undefeated, or worst case, we each lose our respective games to Notre Dame. We go in there with 1 loss. I think that would be an iconic Army-Navy.
Oh yeah, it could be too. The championship game, and then we could have an Army-Navy game right after that, and that is going to throw havoc into the college football playoff scenario. But hey, at least we can talk about that this year.
We can dream our dreams.
Oh, yeah. We can dream our dreams. And folks, we'll be with you this time. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. And again, Army, I think the game is on CBS Sports Network this week. You can you can listen to it on this station. And as we always say, no matter where you are and no matter what you're doing, somewhere a soldier, sailor, airman, Marine, or Coast Guard member is standing a watch so you can enjoy the life you live in this great country of ours. Go Army,
beat Navy,
and beat the Blazers. We're gone.